To go for probably 3 or 4 years. What it was that I was looking for was really a change of heart and to come to know personally who Jesus and Mary were.
Bringing Christ to others. That, in essence, is what the phenomenon of Medjugorje is all about. Mary, the mother of Jesus, appearing to a very small select group of young people in a remote village in a socialist country. An event so unnatural, so out of the ordinary, that it indeed gets the attention of the world. And for what purpose? To bring an awareness of Jesus Christ to the world. In Guadalupe, Mexico, in 1535, the Blessed Virgin appeared 5 times. In Lourdes, France, in 1858, 18 times. In Fatima, Portugal, in 1917, 6 times. In Medjugorje, starting in June of 1981, and still continuing, Mary has appeared over 10,000 times. As she converses on nearly a daily basis with each of the visionaries, her messages inspire them to live lives of prayer, peace, fasting, penance, and spiritual devotion. A pilgrimage to Medjugorje will most likely include a visit to the home of one or more of the young people who are blessed to be visited on such a regular basis by Our Lady. Often, Vitska or one of the other visionaries will be gracious enough to come out and speak to those who have traveled so far just to be where the Blessed Mother is appearing.
Molite kao jednoga velikoga svoga Oca koji je na nebesima.
And you have to pray in a way like you're praying to your big Father somewhere on heaven.
Koji je pun neizmjerne ljubavi, koji nas toliko voli.
And which is full of endless love for us.
I zato dajem vam svoj blagoslov i molim za sve vas.
That's why I'm giving you my blessing and I'm praying for all of you.
Kaj na poseban način.
And then the reality of it hits you. You're standing there on the other side of the world and have just been told by a young lady who speaks face to face on a daily basis with the Virgin Mary that she will pray for you. And what of prayer? How does your personal prayer life, or lack thereof, enter into what you might receive from a trip such as this? We asked the priest who spent a year and a half in prison for befriending these young people for his thoughts on prayer.
What would we tell to the television people who perhaps are not Catholic and don't pray the rosary? What could we tell them to use as a method of prayer?
Danas ste slušala što ste govorili kako oni da mole, kako protestanti da mole.
Svaka molitva, ako je molitva, ona je dar Duha Svetoga.
Every prayer which is a prayer is a gift of Holy Spirit.
Krunica je, kao što sam rekao, jedan životopis.
A rosary,
Kurikulum vitae.
as I
Isusa
told you,
Krista i
is one
Gospe,
also
crkve.
biography of our Jesus Christ.
Krunica je jednostavna molitva.
Rosary is a very simple prayer.
Ona otvara srca
It opens hearts,
vjernika
believers,
i rasvjetljuje lice Isusa Krista.
and get light to the face of Jesus
Da
Christ.
nema čovjeka koji ga ne zavoli, ne zaljubi.
So
Ne
there-
zaljubi se u njega.
So there is no man who would not like Jesus Christ and who would not fall in love with
Kroz
Jesus
sve
Christ.
faze njegovog života.
Through every phase of his life.
Dakle, kroz sam njegov život.
So through all his life,
Provodi nas krunica.
a rosary leads us.
I zato ta molitva je, kao i svaka druga, svjetiljka u rukama našim.
And that's why that prayer is, as any other prayer, like a candle in our hands.
A nju pali Duh Božji, Duh Sveti.
And Holy Spirit light that candle.
I molitva nije iznašašće čovjekovo, već potreba čovjeka.
The prayer is a need of human beings.
Već potreba.
We need it. We need to pray.
Prayer seems to be one of the main topics of discussion during a trip to Medjugorje. Two young girls who, although they are not visionaries but receive messages in their hearts, lead prayer groups as directed by the Virgin Mary. They talked about their prayer life and how they share their prayer life with their friends and neighbors.
3 hours, and she said sometimes they don't succeed. I mean, sometimes they pray just 2 hours because they don't have enough time to pray 3 hours.
And does the prayer have to be all at the same time for 3 hours?
Tako je 3 sata non stop neprekidne molitve.
Gospodin, da mi možemo ujutro moliti, početi naš dan s Bogom, to je važno. To je često puta ubrala i svetu misu, našu večernju molitvu. Znači,
Our Lady said to them, she gave them some kind of schedule. So in the morning they have to start their day with praying. So in the morning, afternoon, and especially at the night time at a Holy Mass.
The Holy Mass. Mass is held every hour on the hour throughout the day, 7 days a week, in St. James Church, in a different language each hour. People have come from all over the world to this tiny village church. This church that was built many years ago. This church that at the time it was built had no reason to be built so large. Since 1981, people just like you have journeyed here. Well over 10 million of them. And now, it is often not large enough for all who come to hear Mass and pray. Will you join that number? Do you feel that perhaps someone is calling you to Medjugorje? With the vast numbers of people streaming to this remote rural village, it would be virtually impossible for everyone to sit and have a private conversation with these young people. The next best thing is for us to sit down with our camera and ask some of the questions that you might pose if you were afforded the opportunity.
Knowing that we are here to talk to you about your encounters with the Blessed Mother, we would like to know if you have a special message for people who have not heard about the Blessed Mother.
Oni su došli tu da bi razgovarali s tobom o pojavljivanju Gospe. Da li ti imaš neku posebnu poruku za one ljude koji nisu čuli za ovo ukazanje?
To je ono što Gospa daje, koje su njezine glavne poruke, ova molitva, obraćenje, post, pokora i mir.
The main message of Our Lady are pray, fasting, conversion and peace.
How do we know when we're living the message?
da smo počeli
Sigurno mi budemo otvarali iz dana u dan svoje srce i prihvaćali ovo što Gospod traži, živjeli srcem i osjetimo radost, znači da izvršavamo ono što počinjemo izvršavati, ali ništa nećemo činiti odjedno, nego idemo jedan korak naprijed.
The best way we can feel it is when we feel joy in our heart, you know. When we start to feel joy in our heart, then we will know that we start to listen Our Lady, to accept her messages, and we can't do it at once, everything. We have to go step by step.
As interesting and inspiring as it is to sit and talk with this sensitive, spiritually minded young lady, it is simply awe-inspiring to be right there in the room with her as she begins her regular evening time of prayer, and then to be a first-hand witness as the Blessed Virgin Mary appears to her. She instantly drops to her knees, oblivious to all earthly stimuli. You can tell when she is in direct communication with the Blessed Mother. Virtually anything you might see or experience after witnessing that scene is anticlimactic. But if the truth be known, the real value to what is happening in Medjugorje is the individual personal lives of those thousands of people who have sacrificed the time, effort, and expense to travel to this place. For many who do journey here, their pilgrimage would not be complete without making the rather arduous trek up two very special hills. One is Mount Kruševec, or Cross Mountain, which has the Stations of the Cross strategically placed along the jagged path for you to stop and pray at on your way to the top.
Blessed are you among women, and blessed is the fruit of your womb.
At the summit is the huge concrete cross that was erected by the villagers themselves in 1933 to commemorate the 1900th anniversary of Christ's crucifixion. The other hill is Podbro. At the base of this hill is a blue cross. Here, the Blessed Virgin still appears from time to time to the visionaries during prayer meetings with other young people. People from around the world bring crosses to place here and to simply pray and meditate. Even the elements of nature add their beauty to the serenity of this blessed place.
For the Son, you were chosen from all women, and for women, shining one. Gentle woman, quiet light, morning star, so strong and bright. Gentle mother, peaceful God, teach us wisdom, teach us love. Blessed are you.
Are you feeling a call to a journey? The Blessed Virgin's message to you will be the same as it has been to all who have come. Thank you for responding to my call.
Blessed name, with gentle